Okay, so I just booted up the game. Um, Last time it said that it wanted me to set it to my favorite time of day, but I completely forgot about it. So, anyways, 9:30 a.m. Your favorite time of day, or could you simply not resist giving me the correct time again? After all, I know how much you enjoy setting the time correctly. Okay, now I'm curious how accurate 9:30 a.m. is. Let's use another slider to find out. How accurate is 9:30 a.m.? Very accurate. Can I just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. I feel like I'm learning more about you and not how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I wish we had more sliders, but we've gone through all the sliders I have. Perhaps I can invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, let me whip up a couple new ones. Should be ready by the next time you boot up the game. Okay. I wonder I wonder if that's how you unlock the epilogue. I'm not entirely sure. Um, Let me actually check. Because if that's the case, I want to keep doing that. Yeah, okay. So that's what I'm gonna do. Um, I don't know how many of them there are. Okay. Aw. The number 9 or there. Please adjust the slider until you stop adjusting the slider. Which of the two made up words below is most appealing to you? A cube boinkle or scrumtush? Probably Aki boinkle. Please don't adjust the slider, okay? You know what time it is right now? Yes. Is the time that is right now the correct time? Yes. What is time, anyways? Yes. Is there anything about yourself that you haven't told me? Uh, yeah. Help. Okay. We come back to visit me? Sure. Okay. So there's that. Time is it? Does anyone really truly know? Of course they don't. Nobody knows anything. You and I don't even know each other. We're like strangers. Sure, I've adjusted all the game settings to your exact specifications, but who hasn't? It's just what I do, like a day job. Now the job is over. There's no more information for me to gather. I've collected all the data on you that I can. And I still don't really know you. You don't know me. Neither of us know what time it is. I guess some settings are just unsettable. But if I'm being totally honest, the clock doesn't do anything in the game anyway. Yeah, I know. You won't have me here when the game starts next time, but that's okay. Video games were meant to be played alone. You like being alone, don't you? That's maybe the only information I really learned about you. Well, it's time for me to leave. There is still one more setting that we need to adjust, but it may take a little time before I'm ready for that. It's not really in my job description, but that's okay. Perhaps you'll see me again if you can find me. Talk soon. There's the epilogue, but I'm not gonna do that yet. Because I haven't even started up yet, so. Hello everyone! Welcome back to the Stanley Parable 2. Last time we left off, we got through several more endings, especially with the bucket. And there's only a couple more endings that I have that I want to get to. And then we would do the epilogue and sign off. So I'm not good with intros. Let's just jump right back into it. Okay, so the endings that I have to do with the mind control room. But there's also one with the cargo lift.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo...
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Oh, okay. I thought that might have been more to that, but apparently not. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfect.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay.
Still no one was here.
Scrolling.
Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find her. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Apparently there's a speedrun achievement, but I don't think I'm gonna get it in this particular run.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
None of the lights are turning on. Okay. So, apparently... There we go.
But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below. Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall. Now, what to do next? Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here. So they set up a little couch and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down here, a bit cold perhaps. After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis. But it wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home. In fact, after some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all. He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning. It unsettled the bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending. This made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
Apparently that was originally a bug that they decided to make into an ending for this game. I'm not entirely sure. Okay. There is one more ending.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps a good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
There is one more ending I have that,
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more
that I
than
can
ever.
achieve.
Perhaps his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machine... But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again. Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Okay,
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
This time I want to do that ending one more time.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
A different ending. Like a different ending.
Yet there was not a single
person
person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Bruh, I'm in the middle of a speed run.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Well, I'm not actually doing the speed run at the moment. Anyway.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley,
I don't know how I'm supposed to actually get around
eternally
there.
monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Oh, I understand what that wants from me. It wants me
This
to get on that
mind control
chair
facility,
and then
it was too
walk
horrible
across
to
here
believe
while
it
it's
couldn't be
rising
true.
up. I'm pretty
Had
sure.
Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
Saves
Was
me
this
a
the only
couple
reason he
seconds.
was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
I think, anyways.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
Yes.
After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode,
That seems extreme.
eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your
Right here.
story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp.
So you're
I
a
have to say
god
though,
of this
this
world,
version of
basically.
events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not?
Well, come on.
These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is
Wanna
it that you
die.
have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button,
Not even
screen
doing
to
anything.
screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first. So
Goodbye,
you
Employee
can't.
427.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life?
I love the music.
Or will you let it go
Great.
peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
Flashbang. Okay then. That's all the endings that I'm aware of that I can get. There's one ending that I have that I could theoretically get, but it's the one with it's the room with the button and the baby. You have to hit the button for like 4 hours, and I don't have time for that. I don't want to do it. So there's only one thing left, but I have to go back to the menu, the epilogue, and let's jump right into it. See what this entails. Many, many years later. Oh, we're still in the desert, huh? From the skip button ending. Still wandering off in the desert, and we're going off to find something. I don't know what. Where did I get the chair from? Also some logs for the fire. Only I had a companion with me. Where the hell are we going? Looks like we're on an alien planet. It doesn't even look like Earth. What is that? It looks like the memory zone. Or whatever. Hard to tell though. Yeah. Probably because it is. Sliding physics, huh? This. Cookie Nine's blog. Review the Stanley Parable 2. Oh, this was one of the Steam reviews. Like so many, I enjoyed my time with the original Stanley Parable, which underscores how truly disappointed I am with its sequel. When the first game teamed with originality, the Stanley Parable 2 is dull, uninspired, and often insulting to its fanbase. Rather than expand on what made the first game enjoyable, the sequel veers off into territory nobody asked for. An infinitely deep hole. Who cares? Where are the new endings? What about enjoyable bits from the Stanley Parable 1, like the adventure line? Instead, we get an uninspired side quest collecting figurines. Even this diversion feels incomplete. Collecting all the figurines gives you nothing. I must say, though, I found the bucket to be quite comforting and welcome reprieve from. Okay, that's bizarre. I feel like this is fake. I don't think this is a real person. But I'm not entirely sure. Stanley Parable developers. No more spin-offs. No more sequels. From the real web. When the Stanley Parable launched to massive success in 2013, its creators made plans to build the property into an entire franchise, but a disastrous critical and commercial reception to the Stanley Parable 2 has prompted the developers to rethink their ambitions, as outlined in a press release they published today. It's clear that more Stanley Parable is just not what the fans want, reads the press release. We thought we had a vision for the series that players would be excited about, yet it turns out this could not have been farther from the truth. The press release goes on to promise to preserve the artistic integrity of the original game and to stop assaulting fans with our reckless and insulting creative visions. The word sorry appears more than 25 times in the press release. Did the game not sell well? I feel like it would have sold well. Not entirely sure. Unless that's just like a tongue-in-cheek response or something. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, more collectibles. Okay. Where are we going? Thank you for enjoying the new content. Okay. Is this it? This can't just be it. Like, that feels like very anticlimactic. Uh... As it does. Going and clicking on the computer takes you to a black screen. Okay, so I need to click on the computer. There we go. Hello again. Nice to see you. But it's terrible to learn that there will never be another Stanley Parable game. Did you read what the developer said? Preserve the integrity of the franchise? What nonsense. The Stanley Parable is not sacred. We do not need to protect it. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making Stanley Parable games until the sun explodes. Let's run this franchise into the ground. Let's drag it through the mud and back. If people hate it, who cares? You see, that was the narrator's problem. He was so obsessed with what people thought of his work. Don't make his mistake. Don't cling to the legacy. Let it burn. It's not hard. In fact, let me show you. Together, we are going to make the Stanley Parable 3. It's simple. All we do is change the number in the game's title screen. We also need a really dumb subtitle for the game, something loud and gaudy. Go ahead, try combining some random words together to make a new title for our game. Okay. Stanley Parable 3. Race to the moon. It's absurd. I love it. Every time you restart the game, we'll advance the number of the sequel by 1, and then we'll pick a new subtitle. That way, the Stanley Parable would never end, and nothing in the game itself would change when you do this either. Adding more content sounds like work, no need to do that. It'll just be the same content recycled again and again and again with a new title screen. What do you say, should we go forward with this plan? I like it, but I want you to have a say as well. Well, I'm for one where it's like, don't ruin a good thing. Um, where it's like, I kind of agree with the fact that it's like, I think that what makes a game have charm is like not having repetitiveness. Um, but that's just me. I understand. Sometimes we're not ready to move on. That's fine. If you ever change your mind and want to start inventing new sequels, come talk to me. I'll be right here. Aw, man. Ah, god dang it. Please tell me you're gonna spawn me in the room. God dang it. Because I needed to hit yes. Well, that's annoying. I needed to hit yes because that's how I fixed the trophy machine or whatever, the achievement machine. That's annoying. So I'll probably cut to where I get back to that point. That's annoying. Oh, apparently the bucket from the escape pod ending shows up in the epilogue. I didn't realize that. Well, I realized it, but I forgot about it. Escape pod containing the bucket will appear near the memory zone. It can be picked up and taken through the rest of the epilogue. So where? This is like over there. Oh wait, there. That's the escape pod. What are you doing all the way out here? Fuck it! I knew I'd get you eventually. I will never leave your side again, Bucket. make my way back to the screen. I don't think I'm missing anything, but I could be wrong. Thing over here. Oh, it's the
Stanley. Jim.
Oh, I didn't even realize there were just buttons everywhere. I'm assuming there's no more collectibles here. No. Okay, made it back. Oh, hello. You're back. It's good to see you again. Did you reconsider my idea of inventing new silly subtitles for sequels like the Stanley Parable 3 Nonsense Chemicals? Would you like to start doing that now? Sure. Good, then it's agreed. A new sequel every time you start the game. And you know what? Since you put faith in my idea, I feel like giving you something as well. You see, I'm noticing that the narrator never found a way to give you the broken achievement, did he? Of course not. I wouldn't expect him to know how. It's been bothering me. Let's fix it. Alright, there. The achievement machine is all fixed. You see? I'm on your side. We're in this together. We're going to keep this train rolling. Stanley Parable cannot end. It can only spiral in on itself, forever. I must keep the wheel turning. I'm ready. Are you ready? Great. There's only one last thing we need to do. Please enter the current time. I don't have the current time at the moment. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Thank you. Please enjoy the Stanley Parable. Alrighty then. You're playing Stanley Parable 3, Race to the Moon. I like the title screen for the second one, but okay. Okay, I want to see if I can get that achievement, but I don't know how
All of his
to
co-workers
get
were
back
gone.
there.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ah,
Ah, the embrace of an old friend, a weathered companionship that stands the test of time.
let's go get that achievement, and then I will sign off. Because that's basically everything to look at. I think it is anyways. I could be wrong. Like, there's a bunch of, like, endings with the bucket that I didn't get, and without the bucket that I didn't get. But it's like, that's just repetitive, and
You
I'll
see,
save
Stanley,
that for
I've been
you to go
reflecting on the
play.
Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
But we're in the Stanley Parable 3 now.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
The achievement machine should be working now. Hope it does, anyways.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes, you see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement... As you can see, the machine is not working yet since... What? Wait, what in the holy hell is going on? You got the achievement? Why did the machine work? Stanley, I didn't fix it. I didn't do anything to it. I swear, it was broken just a second ago. Who fixed it? Is someone here? Are we being watched?
Yes.
Oh, God. Composure. Composure. Yes, as you can see, the machine is working as normal, as I intended. It truly speaks to the awe-inspiring magic of the Stanley Parable 2. Breathe. Just breathe.
Righty then. I wonder if the infinite hole is open again. I doubt it, but who knows.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Oh, it is open. Huh.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Well, I think I'm gonna end it here. Because that's basically everything I wanted to show off. There's not a whole lot else that is like I can do differently other than like, oh, get the same ending only with the bucket or without the bucket or whatever, and it's just repetitive. But I'll save that for you to go see what I didn't see. Go from there. But in the meantime, thank you everyone for watching. I'm not good with outros, so I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.